Hello and welcome to another episode of From a Skein podcast. My name is Kristen and you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Knitting Chris. I thank you so much for being here with me today. I know it's been a couple weeks and I had hoped that it would be a shorter time period, but I think sometimes I'm not as productive as a knitter or crafter as I think I'm going to be, and then I feel badly not having different things to show on the podcast. I am at my home in Pennsylvania. We live in the woods. It's been lovely with fall weather and things. As usual, as soon as I start recording, our road that's usually silent and quiet becomes a monumental highway, so pardon the occasional car that kind of goes by as we record here. So what have you guys been doing in the couple weeks since I've been here? I have, and I can explain a couple things why I think I have a little bit less of things to show, or it took me a little longer to get more things, but I will start off with my finished things. First of all, this weekend is the Rhinebeck or New York Sheep and Wool Festival, and I have attended that festival in the past. I am not there this weekend because we have a lot of other stuff going on, and I'll tell you a little bit about that as we go along and I share some of my objects. But if you ever get a chance to go, it's a wonderful festival, as is Maryland Sheep and Wool. I've been to both of them, and luckily for me, they're both about 3 to 4 hours away, so I can attend those festivals if I want. This year didn't seem to work into the schedule, but maybe in the future. So, okay, so my first finished object, which it was actually a start and a finish, is actually another, are you ready for this? Another baby blanket in the granny square pattern, and I did a scalloped edge on it. And I'm recording this video expressly today because I get to gift this to my great niece or nephew who will be due in February. And it's pretty big. I'm so excited about it because I love it. It is, again, has the scalloped edging around it, and it's just this large granny square. The sun is shining brightly today, but it is big. It's pretty big, and I'm super happy with it. I used about 5.5 skeins of the yarn to make this, and I will show you the tag for the yarn in a moment, but I'm going to gift it today. That is one of the things that I have this weekend, is the baby shower. So to my niece and nephew who are expecting their first baby. And here's the tag of what yarn I used. It's Yarn Bee in the colorway Soft Succulent, which I think is right on here. It's this beautiful like light green, and I don't know if the sun is kind of blowing that out, but it is gorgeous. This is the first time I've used this yarn, and for a commercial yarn I would say it's pretty soft. I want to use this again. I got it, it's $5.99 a skein. I think I used 5.5 skeins. I think I got it when it was 30% off. There are 252 yards. It is 80% acrylic and 20% polyamide, which is like a nylon base actually, which you would think might make it a little more what we call toothy or not as soft, but it actually is. It's actually the nicest, like the softest one that I've done, and it actually had great stitch definition, I felt. I used a USH hook, 8, size 8, but it's a 5.00 millimeter. So I actually really love this yarn. I think I got it in a cream color to do another one just to kind of have in stash someday, maybe in case I need to do it, or maybe for a future. Sometimes I will just put it away, make some and put it away, and either for donation or whatever. But again, I got it on sale, 30% off, so $6, 30% off times 6, not too bad. Even at full price, not too bad for a nice handmade gift. That's part of that. So that's my first thing. My second finished object is a pair of socks. You can see them both here. These are my standard kind of recipe. I shortened it a little bit here in the cuff. Again, this is a sock set from Legacy Fiber Arts, and I wasn't sure about the yardage of the yarn. Turns out I would have had plenty. to do probably the cuff in both the blue and the heels and the toe in the blue contrast, and then the whole body, my normal, I think I usually do 50 rows. I think I shortened it to 40 here. I probably, and I only did, I think 16 rows up here where I normally do 24. I think it would have been cutting it a little close if I'd used the whole blue for 24 on both socks, but I probably think I could have eked it out. But here they are. They're in the Wonder colorway. I believe they're on their steel toes base, which is, I believe, an 80-20, so 80% merino wool, 20% nylon. If you're wondering why people knit so much with that in the socks, the nylon provides a little bit of wear for the socks so that they wear a little bit better for you. It's hard to knit 100% superwash. You'd have to knit at a really tight gauge for some hole prevention. So when you wear them, they may be more prone to holes if you had like a nylon, or not, if you didn't have nylon. So if you just had a merino. I do think there is probably some truth to the fact if you knit in a non-superwash that you could get some felting and maybe have a nice sock with that, but I haven't really actually done that recently. So I maybe an experiment that I would like to do in the future. But anyway, I love these. Gorgeous dyeing. Love the sock. I think it's really reasonable. I think they're like $24 for the sock set. Sometimes they're on sale. They are a great like mother-daughter company. The dyeing, you just don't see the pulling that you see, you know, it's great speckles everywhere. I love the semi-solid colors of the contrast skein that came with it. So again, it was a great project and a very fun one. Should have been finished with it way sooner. Again, here's another car. I apologize for that. Oh, to say, I did knit these on a US 1 needle and US 1 2.25. Most of my socks, I knit the majority of them with a 9-inch circular, and then when I slip, do the slip stitch, kind of heel back here and gusset, and well, actually not for the gusset. And when I go to the toe, I do switch to magic loop. So that's how I knit those. So we'll go to my works in progress next. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but look what I have. Guys, I have a problem. I really do. I think it's just because it's so simple, and sometimes I just need simple in my life. So I don't know if I've talked about it, but I work as a nurse, and sometimes that can be very stressful. And so I want something I just do with my hands and my brain doesn't have to think about it a lot. So I started another granny square blanket, not really very far on it, but it is for a friend's daughter who got married and, did it very quietly and very quickly, I would say, not because for any reason, just other than she wanted to. What I'm using is this giant ball of knit picks, and they're Brava 500. So they offer these skeins. I think they used to be $11.99, and I think now they're, I don't know if they're like closer to $14, but they are 1,090 yards of a worsted weight. It's 100% acrylic. This is done in dove gray. I have 2 of these, so it will be just me crocheting until we're done, and I'll probably put a border on it. But it's, and again, I'm using a US H8 hook 5mm. I think for me, this is less ends to weave in at the end using these big skeins. It's very economical, I think, too. Even if you're paying, $14, or if you get one of their sales where they're 20% off, that's great. So very economical, and user, gift recipient friendly. They can wash it if they need to. So I'm super excited about it. It's doing very well. The stitch definition is really well on this. So this is the dove gray. And I wanted something kind of neutral for that. Again, using just my favorite kind of hook, a couple bucks at Michael's or Joann's or someplace like that I use. So there's that. I hope that maybe I would have this started and finished, but yeah, no, I didn't. I'm trying to figure out, I think this might be the right side. This is the start of a shawl called The Sky of Diamonds by Janina Calilio. Also, her other name is Woolenberry on Ravelry. That's her company name that she goes by. I'm knitting this on US 5s. And I'm sorry, I don't have the metric conversion there. I forgot to write that down, and I don't know it in my head. I want to say it's like a 4 point something, but I could be wrong. It's Sweet Fiber yarns from Canada, and they're merino single. Now, when I am knitting this, it's knit on the bias, so that means it's kind of knit like this. So it's going to be turned this way, and you think, well, why is it Sky Diamonds? Because if you're like me, my eye goes right to the stripes, right, of knitting in here. But when you block lace, and this is what I love about lace, when you stretch it out and you see, and I don't know if I can get it to that point where you can see, there's really tiny little diamonds. So I'm super excited to knit this, block it, and so we'll talk about blocking maybe sometime, and then be able to show you, and I think if I hold up here, how it brings out these tiny diamonds in there in the lace section. So yarn's lovely. I'm knitting it with Hayas, which are my favorite. The red lace, not Haya, yeah, Chalgo, I'm sorry, Chalgo. Red lace knitting needles, and I absolutely, these are my favorite. They have a nice point on them, but they're not too sharp that they hurt your fingers, or you're getting, I've had some needles that are, you know, wonderfully sharp, but then I also poke, you know, I push a lot with my fingers when I'm knitting, and will poke a hole in my actual skin at times. I wash my hands a lot at work, so there is, you know, some contact dermatitis a little bit from the soaps. But anyway, this is that. I think I'm on like repeat 15 of like 21. I plan to actually knit the rest of this yarn until it's gone, so I want to use up most of it. I do believe there's the picot bind off, which I love. It's a little bit of labor, I love to do that, but I absolutely love that bind off, the way it looks in the end. I think it just adds so much to the project. So this is the maple colorway again from Sweet Fiber Yarn in their Sweet Fiber merino single. So I'm loving that project. Hopefully it will be a finished object the next time we meet. What else I'm working on? Oh, I got out in this bag, this Justin's bag. This is from Birdie and Poppet. I believe I bought it on Etsy. Isn't that such a cute little tag? It is Rifle Paper Company fabric, which I love. They have the most beautiful little coordinating color for the inside. And this is it's a shawl that I started a long time ago. I have not even worked on it in the past probably 2 or 3 years. And in true Kristen fashion, there are ends everywhere. So what I would say to you is, I think this is the equivalent of a floss tube, where people don't iron their projects, the linen. My ends being unwoven is the equivalent of that. This is done. It's the name of this pattern. It's actually also by Janina Khalil. So Woolenberry, and I believe Stella is the name of this shawl. And I started it years ago. And I was looking for a way to use this these are Miss Babs, and I believe it's in her 2-ply fingering, this highly variegated yarn, which is beautiful. There's also like, I shed, so I swear, I think there's probably hair in most of my knitting. If you get a knitted project from me, you'll probably get some of my DNA in it. And I don't have, you know, it's so long ago I've lost the ball bands. I know it's the 2-ply yarn, and then another like just semi-solid yarn from Miss Babs. And I combined them together, and I think they're working well into this, again, lace. a little bit of lace in here, and when you block it, I mean, basically it's the essential, like stretching it, it's going to open up and be beautiful. So I'm excited to see how this is. It looks like it's alternating garter and like a knit to kind of pattern going on. It's paid for pattern, so I really don't want to talk about it too much, but I'm kind of excited to get back to this and finish it up so I get it off my needles and can either gift it or wear it. I usually like something a little bit to wear around my neck, and I think this will be a fun thing to finish on my needles, so excited about that. And the last thing I did start, and I just started it recently. If you remember last episode, I bought some yarn when we were in New York, and it was the Leading Men Fiber Arts in their Showstopper base, which I believe is an 80-20 or something like that, merino nylon for socks in the Masquerade colorway. So here is what that looks like all caked up. It's kind of wild. Well, I mean, I like purple, I like green, but they threw in this kind of reddish, like rust color in there, which really, I wasn't sure about how it would knit up. I'm knitting it on US 1 2.25 circular needles. Most of the beginning of the sock I knit on a magic loop because I'm knitting another pair of the everyday socks. So these are kind of almost like, and here's the beginning part of this, like a running sock or just a shorty sock. And I'm down past the gusset onto the part where you actually get some, I want to say like where I get on my commercial like Bombas socks or running socks, like anything you would buy, you get like this compression area, and that's actually what I'm knitting right now. And I actually have to say I love this yarn. It's kind of doing a little bit of pulling, but in a cool kind of way. This sock has this flap in the back, and it requires some German short rows, so it challenges me each time. I kind of have to look that up. It's got a knit in hem, which is interesting. It's got I call it an eye of a partridge heel, which works well with these highly variegated yarns, and I am just really enjoying it. So I'm hopeful to get these off the needles quickly, because I'm kind of thinking this is a great project for me. I love to knit socks, and these feel like really kind of nice and sturdy, so I'm really happy with how they're knitting up. That pattern is the Everyday Sock. It's Knitwear by Rachel is the company. The designer is Rachel Bulahanis. And again, I'm knitting it on a US 1 2.25, and right now it's on a 9-inch circular. This beginning part was done almost solely on magic loop here because of the short rows and things. So that's what I've been basically crafting. I have not been as productive in my crafting because a couple weeks ago a friend of ours had asked if my daughter and I wanted to provide some music for a fundraiser event that they were doing. So he asked us to play some live music at a local winery, which is actually tomorrow. So we have a gig tomorrow that my daughter and I are playing together. I'm so excited about it. We're doing some flute pieces together. She's playing some flute and I'm playing some piano as well. We'll also be playing in church then, kind of just, when we prepare everything, we just kind of do a whole big blowout. So we're playing in 2 churches tomorrow and then a winery in the afternoon, a local winery. So I'm super excited about that. It's been a joy to be able to do that kind of thing and to play with my daughter. My daughter and I both, at the end of September, had the great pleasure of seeing Stevie Nicks in concert. And it was a rescheduled concert, and I have to say that it was everything I hoped it would be. If you have a chance to ever see somebody that is just, somebody you admire, or really as an artist, or even just to go to concert of live music anywhere to support it. I really highly encourage that. She's an amazing singer. She's an amazing songwriter. She is a storyteller, and in my book, she's just a legend. I've listened to her music since I was a teenager. I love Fleetwood Mac, huge Fleetwood Mac fan. I love Stevie Nicks' voice, the distinctive sound of it, and I just think she's an amazing performer. So we had a great time. Tonight I have the express pleasure of going to like a local city, like about an hour away, and we're gonna go dinner, and we're going to go to a concert of the Blues Traveler, which, if you remember them from the 1990s, they were a group that was pretty popular back then, and they're touring again because I think they might have a new album out. So I'm really looking forward to that. Another thing I'm doing, I'm going to Nashville in a couple weeks with my friends, a couple of my friends from work. We're going to go to a concert and do some touristy things. I've been to Nashville many times, but I think it will be fun to see it through people who haven't been there, through their eyes and things. So those are the things that I'm doing. I'm certainly enjoying the fall weather, exercising, spending time with family and friends. So I hope that you are doing well, and that you are taking this time of year to not only enjoy the outside, but to start, this is the time of the year when I think I get so inspired to create things. So I hope that the weather where you are is doing that for you, bringing you joy, and your crafts and your making are bringing you joy. And I wish you well. And if you have any suggestions or comments, please leave them below and hit subscribe, and you'll always get a notification then if you click the bell when I put up a video. So thanks for spending this time with me and being here today. I wish you best. Thank you.